The iCAUR V23 is iCAUR Malaysia's next model launch, and there are two variants available with an estimated pricing of 145,000 to 155,000 ringgit. The boxy, retro-looking exterior design with off-road capabilities, and this being a full EV, it truly is a lifestyle vehicle.
But is this quote-unquote toy worth your money, and how it performs off-road? Let's find out. My name is Adrian, I'm all about the details, and you're watching cDrive. Compared to the 03, the V23 has a slightly longer wheelbase of 2,735mm. However, the overall length, width and height has a smaller footprint compared to the 03. I much prefer the look of this V23 compared to the iCAUR 03 simply because this front end here has a mix of the classic boxy SUVs such as the Toyota Land Cruiser, G-Wagon, Range Rover Defender. However, among iCAUR's fleet of vehicles, my favorite in terms of exterior design is the V27. That looks exactly like a baby Range Rover. It rides on 21-inch alloys, and for today's test, it's wrapped around road tires, and for this sort of off-road course, it's going to really challenge and showcase the prowess of its all-wheel drive system. The rear boot opens up to 234 liters of space, although doesn't sound like much. However, because this is a boxy design, so yeah, you're able to very easily stuff tall, big, large items over to the back here. And underneath here, this is an 80 liters worth of storage space, so you can place a small duffel bag or your shoes nicely tucked away. And over here, there's also extra room. And here are your safety kit and toolkits. The V23 has keyless entry. Just have the keys in your pocket, approach the car, and the doors will automatically unlock and to enter. However, ladies with manicures would have a little bit of trouble opening up on the door latch. Because of its ground clearance of 200mm, it's quite a tall car to get in and out of. And the V23 comes with side steps as well as grab handles here for ease of ingress and egress. And stepping inside, you are greeted with, I would say, a much more better combination in terms of technology as well as retro design. So here you get a very tall dashboard, very boxy vibes. You get loads of these born to play plaques that wraps around the car. And over here, the steering wheel is actually very simple. There's only two swivel knobs. On the left side is for you to control the car settings, and on the right side is where you control your multimedia stuff. And you can notice that the driver does not have a instrument cluster because everything is all integrated into this 15.4-inch touchscreen infotainment system that houses all the car's main functions and controls. And once you're connected into wireless Apple CarPlay, the left side of the screen projects your CarPlay, and on the right side, this small section here, about 1/3 of the screen, still projects your car's main settings and controls. The screens here are very fluid, loads of customizations, and I love that this UI is very modern, very much Tesla-like. However, I also appreciate that you have a row of physical controls, very large, very tactile feeling for your climate control. So you have your fan speed control, which you can adjust on the fly. And over to the right side, this is where you adjust your drive modes into 6 different driving modes. And you hear that it makes a lot of funky noises to when you switch between the different modes. Well, iCAUR being born to play. One small little design feature that I quite appreciate is the air vents over to the far ends of the dashboard. You have individual controls for the top and bottom, so you're able to have lots of flexibility in terms of airflow. And the center tunnel here, you get your center armrest, loads of storage spaces here, and the side here, it's a net for you to easily slot in your sort of off-road stuff, gloves, whatnot. Over to the passenger seat, it's quite wide and very plush, very comfortable. And if you notice, there is a glove box, only a teh tarik hood that supports up to 3 kilograms of weight. So the main storage spaces are all to the center console here. Now, to charge out the devices, there are two USB Type-C ports within the center console, and the vanity mirror has one vanity light. Seated in the back seat, I have the front seat adjusted to my usual driving position. I'm 175 cm tall, and this having one of the longest wheelbase in class, 2,735mm, it translates into copious amount of knee room. I have about 4.5 tennis balls worth of knee room, and because this is an EV, I get a completely flat floor, so the center passenger, if you had one, would be very comfortable. However, in this iCAUR V23, it's actually a 4-seater. You can notice there's two large seats here that creates a very sofa-like experience. Although there's no center armrest and you're not able to recline the rear seats, however, the seat posture structure is very well supported. I think on long distance drives, I can very comfortably have a very nice, relaxing sleep in this V23. Alright, first little uphill climb. I'm now in off-road mode. And yeah, I can feel that the traction control is kicking in just to give maximum grip into the individual wheel that's touching into the ground, so that I'm able to climb up very effortlessly. And something I noticed is that the suspension work on the V23 is inherently very supple. So on these kind of terrains, it's still very comfortable, and of course the plush seats helps to cushion out some of the undulations. This sort of environment, this picture that I'm looking here and you're seeing on screen, this is where you should be taking your iCAUR to. This beautiful nature, little bit of off-road trail, because your V23 is able to do it with ease. Call out with the other V23. Looks very nice from behind. Love the tail lights, the way it's positioned, the flat arches,
Third brake light.
and the third brake light. Yeah, the third brake light, if you notice, is very unique. It's not centrally mounted, it's slightly offset over to the driver's side. Engage slippery mode. Okay, this is for maximum traction on wet or loose surfaces. You'll notice that I will need a little bit more effort on the throttle because this is to be used at very low crawling speeds. Yes, I'm actually about 70% throttle, and the car is still not moving very quickly because you want to help the car to crawl up and gain as much traction as you can in these kind of slippery conditions. Yeah, so slippery mode is really to be used in very challenging conditions where you get no traction at all, and the intelligent all-wheel drive system will just engages and calculate the amount of torque to give you maximum traction instead of full force to crawl you out of those slippery sections. But because this being an EV, you're able to change all the drive modes on the fly without having any form of mechanical engagement. It transforms the way users would approach 4x4 vehicles, because in a traditional, say a pickup truck or a 4x4, you would have to use your 4H, 4 low, doing all those things, but this one is just a twist of a knot. So after it understands that because of the pitch angle, it detects that you're sliding downhill, it will automatically engage hill descent control. My foot is off the throttle and brake pedals, and it just controls my speed at maximum of 10 kilometers per hour. So I'm able to come down the descent very safely. And now that I'm here, see, it stopped blinking. Very clever. The steering is so light, right? Because there's no, you don't have a 4-wheel transfer case and all that. You're not engaging a low gear, so you don't have to, in a traditional 4x4, you would definitely have to be struggling ever so slightly with the steering, especially on these kind of tight sections. You will have to navigate the steering, use a lot of strength and force. But now, yeah, the V23 being an EV, without having transfer case and all of those mechanical gizmos, you're able to just yeah, it's like I'm driving on tarmac. I think even if you don't plan to take your boxy off-road looking EV off-road, the iCAUR V23 is still a very capable city cruiser. It's comfortable, quiet, plush, and you get lots of very nice materials cocooned in the cabin. And the features equipment list that's available in here, I think its asking price of 145,000 to 155,000 ringgit is very well justified. Personally, I'm sold just by its looks. So the next time you're out comparing boxy off-road EV SUVs within the 150,000 ringgit price point, make sure you remember all the intricate details of the iCAUR V23 from my video and see how those cars stacks up against iCAUR's latest offering. My name is Adrian, thanks for watching cDrive, and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more detailed videos like this. Bye bye.